Mr. Jolly's chocolate. Delicious, non-nutritious, and all-around gooey. Come buy a box today to have cavities for a lifetime. Alright, Butch, open it up. What do you mean? Open the box. We gotta eat the candy in front of the camera. There's a problem with that. I have no thumbs. Oh, neither do I. Well, how are we supposed to open this? I'm not really sure. There's no people around, sadly. Oh, I have an idea. First engine to break this box of chocolate gets his own story in Crotoonia! That's right, folks. Mr. Jolly's chocolate is so good it hurts. Buy a box today at your local grocery store. Ow, my scapula.
Welcome to the Thomas Meeple Railway, where the adventures are adequate and the voice acting is wooden.
Oh boy, oh boy! We finally have a main express station here on the railway! This is the happiest day of my life!
A bit small for being a main express depot, don't you think?
For now it is, little James, but once the people come and ride in my grand coaches, it shall expand furthermore to be the landmark location on the railway. Thinking about it makes me so proud.
How can you pull any passengers when you don't have a coach with you yet?
We're still working on that. It's gonna be great!
Not only that, I have to agree with James on the station's architecture. One platform, one track? If I was in charge of this, I would hold off construction until there was enough funds to build a 3-track, 2-platform station.
Quite right. But at least you've got a roof over your head, Gordon.
Actually, if you look up, there's no glass in the ceiling. So if there's a rainstorm, then the rain would just pass through it and proceed to pour down on top of anything and everything, or on and around the platform.
Guys! Stop bringing up flaws of my station! You're ruining the moment!
Hey, here comes Sir Topham Hatt.
Attention, everyone! I'm very pleased to see such a large crowd gathered for this special occasion.
Hurry it up, will ya? Some of us got places to be, you know?
The makeup saloon closes in about 25 minutes, so make it snappy.
My ship sails in the morning!
Whoa, whoa! Control your excitement, my fellow peeps. I'm just as joyous about this as you all are, but not as hyped as I am.
Actually, I'm pretty excited about this station too.
Not scientifically possible! It gives me great pleasure to declare that Knackford Station is officially open for business! I love this game! But this station isn't just for train runs and bus stops. It also comes with the world-famous MC Bone Cafe. Here to give a small speech is none other than the legendary baker himself, MC Bones the 3rd and 4th quarters.
Top of the morning, everyone. I hope you all come on by and try our delicious assortment of pastries and snacks. We cook everything here from donuts, small cakes, cinnamon rolls, Turkish delights, and whatever leftovers I'm able to find within my refrigerator.
And don't forget the dessert that put you on the map.
Oh yes, how could I have forgotten my specialty, the twisted sweet funnel cakes. They're even in the shape of a steam engine's funnel, no less.
Yeah, that's nice and all. But what about the other thing?
We also sell sweet non-southern tea?
Go on. Mention the dish that I love so dearly.
I'm sorry, sir. I don't recall actually knowing what your favorite dish is.
I talked about it at every meeting we had during construction.
I don't remember, seriously.
The meal that I need to survive on this godforsaken railway.
Pickled eggs and rutabaga?
The bagels, man! How could you not remember the hot, steamy, sweet, fluffy, puffy, vegan bagels?
Vegan bagels. Oh! I mean, sure, I have bagels, but they all have egg in the recipe. I don't make the vegan kind, sir. I never really cared for them. My brother-in-law's the one that's famous for those.
My apologies, everyone, but there seems to be a small infrastructure festation going on in one of the pillars. So therefore, the station shall be closed until further notice. What?
But sir, you can't be serious. We spent so much time, money, and resource to finally get a functioning station.
This station has been stained by the promise of lies. The only way to wipe away the sins of this building is to demolish it down to the ground. And thus, a new station shall be built, where there are no false truths, and the glory of vegan bagels shall endure forever and ever, without the need for a big world adventure. Amen. And a woman.
You're a nutcase, you know that?
So, you guys want to try and hunt down Mr. Milkyton?
You guys can go on ahead. I've got myself a date with my foreign gal.
Did anyone re-rail Thomas out of curiosity? I haven't seen or heard from him since this afternoon.
I want it now, Betty Hetty!
Thomas Log, day 75. I managed to fully integrate myself into the tree colony. No one suspects a thing. At the rate I'm going, soon enough I'll be able to climb up the ladder of their anarchy, overthrow their leader, and proceed to rule their population with an iron will. All I have to do now is just simply wait things out, and not yet my cover be blown.
Hello, Thomas!
Get 'em, boys!
Oh, son of a cheesecake!
Huh, sounds like he's having fun.
Guys, you do know I'm able to run on my own power, right?
Well, if we let you do that, then you would just be lifting the same 1 or 2 crates in the yard constantly and nothing else.
It's therapeutic, okay? And besides, it's not like many accidents really happen on this railway to begin with, so it gives me a sense of purpose.
Thomas, where are you? Sweet mother of Wilbur Audrey, what happened to you?
Please stop! Somebody help me! I need ambulance!
Oh, so you need the ambulance, eh?
We'll give you your embassy. We'll shove it down when the steam comes out, see?
We'll make you rule the day you ever barked up the wrong tree. You got that, puffball?
So, should we just let them continue to do their thing, or...
Yeah, we'll just come back later.
So, let me get this straight. You took me away from my own devices for what ended up being nothing more than an empty promise.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's not like you really had a say in the matter now, isn't it?
Oh well, at least I'll soon be reunited with my magnetic rectangular goodness. Boxes.
This would have to be like the second or third weirdest thing that I have witnessed this week.
Don't go away! Milantoon Primetime will be right back after these messages.
Hi kids, I'm Emma, and welcome to Crotoonia Bay Docks.
pushing and a pulling in the great big harbor, in the great big world is so much fun. So many brand new things to discover. Waking with the sun, gotta get the job done. Oh, Theodore and Emily, Voda, Hank and George, and the harbor master too.
Did you all know this about Harrison? If Harrison were to bring back characters to the series, here's a good list of who could be a possible return. There are some episodes where he just does whatever. And probably after this video, you'll never see the characters the same way again.
The new Chuggington Safari Park track set with Touch and Go Matambo, a motorized engine with touch sensor technology. In the Safari Park, there's so much to do. Carry the animals back to their home. Meet the sliding monkey on a zip wire. Open the touch-activated gate when Matambo is carrying Ebo the elephant. Meet Wilson on the elevator. Collect all sets and other Touch and Go chuggers to build your own Chuggington world. Chuggington Safari Park track set, all aboard track set, and additional chuggers each sold separately from Alpha Group.
Ooh, chicken. I'm gonna make it! I'm gonna make it! Ah! Yes.
Going somewhere, Simpson? Ah! What have we here? Popcorn, chicken, fries, Pepsi, and a handsome collector's cup? Oh, if I ever see that buffoon's face again, I'll... Oh!
Get your free Simpsons cup with the purchase of a KFC popcorn combo.
Ugh, gross! It's on my windshield. I can't see nothing. I'm blind. I can't see. I'm blind.
What's wrong? What happened?
Oh, I killed a baby bumblebee.
Oh, come on. Will you quit your bawling? Could be a lot worse.
Well, see how it could be worse.
Oh, gross.
Daggum! Boy, I tell you what, son, I drive my tires over a mile of busted glass just to see that picture right there. Daggum!
Hey, Hey, Apple and Cinnamon. How would you make milk more fun?
With Applejack cereal straws, man!
Just dip them in and sip, sip, sip. And pull them out and munch, munch, munch. All together now, dip, sip, munch. New Applejack cereal straws. When Applejack cereal gets a cinnamony coating inside,
everyone's a winner, man!
So fun to dip, sip, munch.
I munched first!
Introducing Munchos.
Munchos.
The all-new potato snack from Frito-Lay.
Like Munchos.
It's not a potato chip, it's a potato crisp.
Love Munchos.
It's thicker than a potato chip, thus it's crisper with more potato flavor.
Found Munchos.
Try them. You'll discover there's more to a Muncho.
Dairy Queen presents Sherlock Holmes. No, wait, it's Robin Hood. No, it's Wishbone, imagining himself in classic stories. Let your imagination run wild with the new Wishbone toys at DQ stores. Wishbone's a pirate. He's Alibaba riding a magic carpet. He hides inside a Trojan horse. 99 cents each with any purchase, or you can pick one when you buy a DQ Kids Meal, the kids meal that lets kids pick. Wishbone toys, available at participating Dairy Queen stores.
We now return to Milantoon Primetime on the Milantoon channel.
Timid Sheds has finally been completed. Some of the engines are staying the night to catch a break from sleeping outside in the mucky weather. Meanwhile, upstairs, a new employee is given a tour of the control section. Why a shed needs a control office is beyond me, but I digress. I believe this will give way to some excellent comedic gags to laugh our heads off.
Hey, buddy, mind explaining the reason the front door was locked?
Look, man, I just wanted to try this narration thing
just
down.
like what I told that little red engine fella last time. This is the only job I've got. And if you think you can take it away from me, well, you can...
Sorry.
Stupid narrator gods can't give a simple diesel some prosperity and rest.
Oh boy, isn't this great, you guys? We finally have an official roundhouse!
And a chance to get away from sleeping outdoors. My paintwork was getting so dusty, the passengers would be playing Knots and Crosses.
These berths are nice and all, but I feel like it's a bit too modern for my liking.
What do you mean?
Well, I've been watching a lot of home and garden shows lately, and every time a new house is built, they make it too modern and suck out all the character. Not to mention forgetting to add the TV in the living room. What kind of madman doesn't put a television where everyone can watch their Saturday morning cartoons? Dang it, I want to watch Bluey!
I guess it's a bit too modern. But hey, at least there's a nice cute little plush steam engine up on that file cabinet.
You know, I think that plush is supposed to be you. And boy, does it look ugly.
Oh, like that's supposed to be me, you silly goose.
Would you four Nimrods care to shush for 8 hours? I have a very important date tomorrow and I can't have any bags under my eyes.
Date? Who's the who's the lucky fellow?
It's not a date. I have the honor of pulling the express over to Barrow, meaning I'll be in the presence of the mainland engines. I just want everything to go smoothly here. Weird stuff keeps happening all the time. Heck, last week I fell off a cliff. I swear this railway feels more and more like a cartoon every day. So you must understand that I need to look and feel my best. No foolish games for... Which one of you varmints threw that pillow?
Me! Pillow fight!
And if you look behind you, that's where your computer is set. The main control deck for the sheds is at the center of the room, and in the back corner is the bed.
Oh, Willikers! That's gonna be so much fun! Can I ask why I have a bed? It's all gonna live here, am I right?
Of course you are. You'll be living here for the rest of your days, unless something happens. Such as if you get married, do something that causes you to get laid off, or if you cease to stand up straight. You think you can handle the task?
Oh, absolutely positive, sir!
Excellent! The manual will be under the table for you to review. Make sure you get plenty of rest. We've got a busy day tomorrow.
Oh boy, my dream of being independent has finally come true. I have my own responsibilities, my own place, and I don't have to pay for water. Now, let me see if I can find that microwave machine. Mama never allowed me to touch that thing.
Rise and shine, everybody. It's a new day full of clear skies and not a cloud in sight.
Morning, everybody.
Morning. Slept so much better with a roof over our funnels.
I concur. How about you, Diesel?
Oh, I was fine and dandy until I noticed Thomas sleeping with his eyes open.
Yeah, he's been doing that for years. No need to worry about him.
I think it's very much worth worrying, actually.
Oh no, that's just a party trick he does.
You two enjoy your discussion. I'm headed out for a fancy date with some real class engines. What the? Come on! Open! Gosh, it all, it's not wanting to open.
Maybe the doors are still locked up?
But wouldn't the doors be locked from the inside, not from the outside?
Why not question the shed manager? Hello, Mr. Shed Manager Guy!
Oh my, that was some good laughs. Gee, look at the time. I better get some sleep before the day starts.
Wake up, lazy bones! Do some hard work for a change!
Oh, my head. Last night, I can't remember what happened. Hey, this isn't my old apartment.
No time to play around. We've got work to do. And I'm going to be late.
Slay, that's right. I have an important job to do. Time to open those doors. Oh, so many buttons.
Is everything all right up there, sir?
I'm making progress. Just figuring out some stuff. Guess we're gonna have to wing it then.
What was that? Something about wings?
Commencing toasty barbecue mode.
Come again? I thought I said I don't want to be hot anymore!
Okay, I'm sorry. Why would a roundhouse need a flamethrower in it?
Maybe this one will do?
Deploying bouncy pad.
Wait!
Sweet mother of Wilbert! Audrey, what's with this roundhouse?
Fellas, I don't think we're in some ordinary brick house. This house might be the house of tomorrow.
Well, thank you, Captain Obvious. We figured that out minutes ago. Now quit yapping and help barge these doors down.
Nothing's working!
Ooh, perhaps this one will work.
Commencing overhaul times 1000.
No! Not me! Have mercy!
Oh my days!
Emily, you're beautiful!
Huh? I don't look that bad. Maybe this whole affair was a blessing in disguise.
But what about James and Percy?
Yeah! What do you call this?
Well, you're still in the doghouse after falsely beating Gordon's record, and Percy, he hasn't gotten a main role yet. That's his, crime against humanity?
Oh, I think I found it. It's the yellow button.
Commencing reverse process of overhaul.
Reverse process? I'm ugly! I'm a wretch! How could such a pretty thing like me deserve such treatment?
Well, Diesel, it's just you and me.
You know, I never thought I would admit this, but I'm scared of what will happen to me.
You mean us, right?
Nah, I'm mostly just looking out for my hiney.
You have a butt?
Though it's a figure of speech, engines don't have butts. Wait, do they? Don't you dare cut to a fantasy sequence!
Oh, focus, Hugh. You can do it. Just 2 more buttons to decide. Which one will suffice? No pressure. Remember what Mom always said.
Hugh, you are as clumsy as a mule. and smell of dried glue. If a stranger in a white van comes around with a sign saying free candy, I'd say take it.
Oh, mother. Wait a minute. Wait, of course. It's the white button.
Activating shrink ray.
Say, did the shed increase in mass, or is it just me?
Oh, it's a tiny box, Diesel. It's so precious and so cute.
I'm not cute. How dare you call me tiny? Get me back to my original height.
Okay, so it's the black button. The one that says open shed doors.
Hooray! I won the contest! I get to go home with a new car!
Thomas, this wasn't a competition at all. We were all in great danger!
No need to be a sour loser, James. I get to go and enjoy the sunshine.
Wait, come back! Take me with you so I can derail you somehow!
Well, I got a engine out. Well, my work here is done. Time to do my other task, like replacing the microwave. Need to learn how to work it properly. Oh wait, what does this button do?
Don't go away! Milantoon Primetime will be right back after these messages.
New from the Disney movie Hercules. Hercules, strongest man alive. You're Hercules. Prove yourself and save the world from Hades. With sword, with axe, with tribo, defeat the evil Nessus. And with Pegasus, crush the monster Cyclops. Extraordinary, legendary. Hercules. Hercules, strongest man alive. Hercules figures, each sold separately. Powerflex Hercules coming soon from Mattel.
Help, save me! Do you buy McGarry's sausages? No! Why don't you drop down to the store for some?
So, gente, what does Dockside want us to do today? Well, right now, he needs us to get a container tray ready for Big Tim. Alright, anything else? Just the usual. Clear the yard and bring any trains arriving here. All seems simple enough. So, how long do we have to prepare Tim's train for? Oh, about 30 minutes. 30 minutes? Have you seen the state of the yard, man? What about it? I think Tim's gonna have to wait for that by the time he gets here. But, if we get our other work done fast, we can get it ready before he even does. It's foolproof. You sure about that? Puggle pal, have I ever been wrong before? Well, to be honest, you were sometimes. Okay, ignoring that, why don't we do some shunting first? I'll start off with these trucks here. Alright, what's going on here? We got some cleanup to do here, so make yourselves look sharp. Blah, blah, blah. We're not getting out of this siding. Oh, yes, you are. Now let's get going. Don't come now. Don't be fussy. Gente, no worries, Pug. I got this. Come on now. Yeah, I gotta get this done quickly if we don't do it together. And that's the Pug I know. Let's get to work then. Right. Surely took us a while. Yeah, it's a good thing Tim came in later than expecting, but who'd have thought a traffic jam would have helped us of all things? You know, Jinty, I doubted your plan at first, but hey, looks like it worked out after all. And I jolly well told you it would. Now, back to what I was saying. Am I ever wrong, Pug? Not at all, Jinty. Well, sometimes anyway. I'll pretend I didn't hear that.
Just beyond Edward Station is Gordon's Hill. With a 1 in 75 gradient, it proves a real challenge for the mainline engines. More often than not, Edward has to bank most trains up the hill. Otherwise, they risk getting stuck. It was a busy summer again on the railway, and most of the engines found themselves feeling hot and overworked. It proved too much for poor Edward, who returned home with a burst valve.
"With Edward at the works," announced Sir Topham Hatt, "I've arranged for a spare engine to come and assist with banking at Wellsworth." "Another engine, sir," chimed in Gordon. "Why not get one of the twins or even old Henry here to help out?" "They have their own work to do," replied Sir Topham Hatt. "She'll only be here for the rest of the summer, so I want you all to make her feel welcome."
Eyebrows pricked up at this. She did not sound good to any of the engines. Edward was at the works station, awaiting his repairs. As he rested, he heard the sound of a booming whistle. A very big tender engine rolled up alongside. It was bigger than any engine Edward had ever seen. "Pardon me," the engine said in a sweet, calm tone. "Is this Wellsworth?" Edward chuckled. "No, my dear engine. Wellsworth is another 4 stations up the line. You're a new face around here. What's your name?" "I'm Bertha," the engine replied proudly. "I'm here to help bank trains." "That's certainly a relief. You'll be covering for me while I'm being repaired," Edward smiled. "Ah, so you must be Edward. Well, thank you for directing me, Edward. I must go now. Sir Topham Hatt is expecting me to work hard, and I won't do that if I'm standing around chatting all day." And with that, she steamed off to start her new job. Bertha worked very hard in Edward's place. At first, the engines were reluctant for her help, but they soon made firm friendships with her. Even Gordon took a liking to her. 2 engines she still had trouble talking to were Bill and Ben. "She looks like a big ship's boiler," Bill teased. "She could crush a truck with her looks," bumbled Ben. This made Bertha feel miserable.
"Oh, pay them no mind," soothed Boko. "Just try talking to them. I'm sure they'd like you once they get to know you."
Bertha found the twins in the yard one morning. They were getting ready to head back to the clay pits to pick up a big order for Derek to take to the other railway. "Would you like some help with your trucks?" Bertha smiled sweetly. Bill and Ben smirked at each other. "You? Travel down the branch line?" Ben snorted. "You'd bend the rails with your size," chuckled Bill. Bertha recomposed herself and kept on a brave face. "I'm only here to help. If you don't want my help, then just say so. You don't need to make little comments about my capabilities." "She's a bit thick in the smoke box," whispered Ben, and both twins scampered away, chuckling to themselves. They soon collected their load and headed back to the junction. It was very heavy. The twins found themselves slipping at some points, but gained grip and gave a valiant effort. They were glad of a rest when the yard manager walked up.
derrick's overheated again," he said. "I need you two to take the train on, I'm afraid. We have no one else available." The twins were horrified. "Us," they squeaked, "pull all this to the other railway?" "Another engine will be ready to take it the rest of the way," he assured. "But you'll have to reach as far as the workstation if you want them to." Bill and Ben reluctantly agreed. "Would you like some help?" Bertha said sweetly. "No, thank you," grumbled Ben. "We don't need you weighing us down." It was tough going at first, but Bill and Ben soon picked up a slow but steady pace. That soon changed as they reached Gordon's Hill. They struggled and strained, huffed and puffed, wheezed and snorted, but they couldn't move the train any further. The call came in at the yard. "Bill and Ben are stranded," the yard manager told Bertha. "Please, can you go and give them a push?" "After all the horrible and nasty things they said about me," Bertha fumed uncharacteristically, "let them jolly well stick on that hill." "Let me remind you, you are here to help Sir Topham Hatt. He's counting on you to make sure trains run to time," the yard manager said sternly. "I've been keeping a note of what they've been saying, and I assure you it will not go unnoticed. Sir Topham Hatt will hear about it, but I'm sure he won't want to hear about you refusing to work." Bertha took a deep breath and set off to find the twins. She found them arguing halfway up the hill. "I told you I should have been at the front," Ben snapped. "I told you we needed more steam," Bill snapped back. Their mood changed as I saw Bertha coupling up. "Oh, great. Now this train will never move. We've got bumbling Bertha dragging us back now." Bertha chuckled and got ready to push. The guard blew his whistle, and all three engines started with a will. The train suddenly jolted forward. The twins looked back in shock. Bertha puffed and pushed with all her might. The train seemed to roll up the hill with no effort. "Wow, she really is strong," the twins mumbled under their breaths. The train was soon over the hill and thundering along the main line. The twins were having a wonderful ride. Bertha was too worn out to notice. With clouds of steam furiously rising from her funnel, she pushed the train all the way to the workstation, where Henry was waiting to take it on. Edward, in the sidings nearby, saw everything. My, chuckled Henry. "You managed that whole train here on your own? And on time, too!" "It was nothing," giggled Bill. "I can assure you it wasn't nothing," Edward said as he rolled up alongside. "I think you have someone to thank." Bertha wheezed up alongside the twins. "Thank you, Bertha," the twins said solemnly, "and we're sorry for being rude. You are a wonderful engine." Bertha hadn't the steam to reply, but smiled warmly. Sir Topham Hatt came to see Bertha. "I've heard all about your recent, excursion with the twins yesterday. I'm very thankful for your services to my railway." Bertha looked down at her buffers. "I suppose you'd want me to leave right away, sir, seeing as Edward is all mended." Goodness no, laughed Sir Topham Hatt. I'd like you to take up residence at Wellsworth and continue banking trains. In my old age, I'm not as strong as I used to be, Edward smiled. We'd be more than welcome to have you in our yard. Bertha just beamed. Bertha now works at Edward's station, banking all kinds of trains up and down Gordon's Hill. After their day out, Bill and Ben had a strong respect for Bertha. All three are now great friends. Bill and Ben tell Bertha tales of their early days and how mischievous they used to be. And Bertha lends a wheel wherever she can, even with a bit of light shunting. She is happy now, and couldn't ask for a better place to live than Sir Topham Hatt's railway.
Don't go away! Milantoon Primetime will be right back after these messages.
I'll be there. I'll be there.
Just call my name.
I'll be there.
At Blockbuster stores across Canada, you'll find more copies of new releases that are guaranteed to be there, or they're free. Come to Blockbuster and go home happy.
Hey, Patrick, how about a glass of delicious, creamy chocolate milk?
Oh, yummy! I love chocolate milk!
And it's good for you.
Chocolate milk. You can absorb it for yourself. Got chocolate milk?
That girl was the beauty of Disney's Hercules.
Fashion secrets, Megara.
She is beautiful. What's her secret?
A look for day, a look for night. Her magic ribbon does it right. Give her a look for every mood. Catch the eye of that hunky muscle dude.
Wonder Boy's in love.
She's sleek and sassy.
The ribbon's her secret.
Fashion secrets, Megara.
New Fashion Secrets Megara doll. Hercules horse and batteries not included.
Did you all know this about Harrison? If Harrison were to bring back characters to the series, here's a good list of who could be a possible return. There are some episodes where he just does whatever. And probably after this video, you'll never see the characters the same way again.
You'll see things in a different way down at Groundling Marsh.
Stop talking! We're cutting into valuable chewing time!
It's a place where nature is nurtured. And friends are really friends.
If everyone's gonna be so agreeable, I'm leaving.
You don't have to climb a tree to see. There's a lot of fun at Groundling Marsh.
All right. Oh, yeah.
Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2:30 on YTV.
Introducing Munchos.
Munchos.
The all-new potato snack from Frito-Lay.
Like Munchos.
It's not a potato chip, it's a potato crisp.
Love Munchos.
It's thicker than a potato chip, thus it's crisper with more potato flavor.
Found Munchos.
Try them. You'll discover there's more to a Muncho.
Want to go on an adventure today?
Sure! Remember when we went to the bottom of the ocean? That was fun. And when we went into the jungle?
We caught butterflies together.
In our great space adventure.
I got you, Dudley.
Those were great. Where are we going to go today?
It's not the adventure that's important, Dudley. It's the friend you share it with.
Now you can go where your imagination goes. Dudley the Dragon is soft and huggable from Canada Games, each sold separately.
Hey, Apple and Cinnamon.
Oh.
How would you make milk more fun?
With Applejack cereal straws, man.
Just dip them in and sip, sip, sip. And pull them out and munch, munch, munch. All together now, dip, sip, munch. New Applejack cereal straws. When Applejack cereal gets a cinnamony coating inside,
everyone's a winner, man.
So fun to dip, sip, munch.
I munched first.
Cocoa Pebbles, the big chocolatey taste will hit you like a chocolatey slap for your smiler. And now there's Cocoa Pebbles Extreme. So much chocolatey flavor, it's more than anyone chocolate milk mustache can handle. Part of a delicious breakfast, Cocoa Pebbles Extreme.
Hi kids, I'm Emma, and welcome to Crotoonia Bay Docks.
Pushing and a pulling in the great big harbor, in the great big world is so much fun. So many brand new things to discover. Waking with the sun, gotta get the job done. Oh, Theodore and Emily, Voda, Hank and George, and the harbor master too.
We now return to Milantoon Primetime on the Milantoon channel.
Let's watch the magic come to life on the island of Soda. Everything is alright. The amount of stories and it never end. It's the tales of Thomas and his friends. They'll be filling adventures up and down the line from Nafford Station down to Brandon, but for sure you're out of time. Now kick back, relax like the engines in the sheds as I regale the tales of Thomas and his friends.
Picture perfect Percy. It was another sunny day on the island of Soda. A photographer was coming to the island. He was going to take photos of all the engines for a special book. And the best photo will be shown on the front page.
Good morning, engines. Now, as you are aware, a photographer is going to be taking pictures of you today. So I want you all to look your best.
Oh, how marvelous. I wonder if he'll take any of me.
Ha! Pulling that smelly fish train? You must be dreaming, Henry. He'll clearly want to take pictures of me pulling the express.
All right, everyone, settle down, please. Just because the photographer is coming to take pictures of you all, that doesn't mean showing off. I'm looking at you, James.
Yes, sir. Do you think I could be on the front cover, Thomas?
You never know, Percy, but knowing James, he'll be up to something.
Wow, imagine me on the front cover.
No, I'll let Toby have this one.
What's up with you, Percy?
There's going to be a photographer taking photos of us. But I don't want James to get into the way of mine.
Did somebody say James?
See?
Where is he? Is he here, Craigie?
No, James, he isn't. Now settle down. This isn't the place to be messing around.
My paint!
Whoops. So sorry, Percy. If you weren't messing around, this would have never happened, James.
Okay, Cranky. It's just a bit of grain. Percy can clean himself up. Can't you, Percy?
Oh, I hope so.
Percy was still feeling upset as he made his way to Ulfstead Castle.
I can't let Mr. Photographer see me like this.
I've been in 3 photos so far, Percy. How about you?
3? Oh.
3 engines.
I can't let him see me like this.
Huh? Hello, Percy. Oh, you don't seem very cheerful today. What's wrong?
It's nothing, Stephen. I wanted to look my best for the photographer so I could maybe get on the front cover, but James covered me in grain at the docks.
So, it wouldn't be the best time to tell you he's coming in right now.
What?
Hello. Have I taken a picture of you yet, little tank engine?
Sorry, I have some trucks that need to be delivered.
Huh?
This way, sir. Sir Robert is waiting at the castle courtyard for us.
I'm going to get myself in another photo if it's the last thing I do. I'm just too splendid to be left out.
James, let Stephen and Glenn have their turn. You already ruined mine.
You're just being silly, Percy. I'm sure they won't mind if I squeeze in for another photo. Here's James!
Here's what? Oh!
Oh no, my documents. I need those to publish the photos and get back to the mainland.
Look, down there, sir, by the old mine. I'll go and get them.
A very proud Percy trudged his way back up the hill, with the photographer's documents in his cab.
Ah, you did
Well
it!
done. Good show. Yes, most fabulous.
yes. Oh, Percy.
James, what did I tell you? I think working at the waste dump will teach you to slow down a bit and learn some manners. As for you, Percy, well done. The photographer thanks you for your help. He sent me a little surprise for you. I thought you might like to see this.
And there on the front cover was Percy, saving the day.
See, Percy? I said you could make it on the front cover, and you did, no matter how dirty you looked.
As for James... Over here, James!
Oh, dirty waste trucks!
Are you sure you want to be in any pictures now, James?
Oh.
Well, say cheese!
This one's for the newspaper.
Let's watch the magic come to life on the island of Soda. Everything is alright. The amount of stories it'll never end. It's the tales of Thomas and his friends. They'll be filming adventures up and down the line, from Nafford Station down to Brendan, but be sure you're out of time. Now kick back, relax, like the engines in the sheds. It's the tales of Thomas and his friends. Thomas is the one that you know so well. James loves his friends as much as he loves himself. Edward may be old, but he's really quite wise. Gordon's big and boastful as he works on the main line. Henry's a gentle giant with a heart of gold. Percy's a cheeky man-pulling little fellow. Emily's a bit bossy but lovely nonetheless. And Toby is somebody you'd be proud to call a friend. Let's watch the magic come to life on the island of Soda. Everything is alright. The amount of stories it'll never end. It's the tales of Thomas and his friends. They'll be filming adventures up and down the line, from Nafford Station down to Brendan, but be sure you're out of time. Now kick back, relax, like the engines in the sheds, as I regale the tales of Thomas and his friends.
Fellow engines? Woohoo! And now, it's the premiere of episodes 2 and 3 of Thomas's Trackmaster Adventure Season 1 Remastered on the Milantoon 10th Anniversary Primetime Party. Thomas's Trackmaster Adventure, celebrating 5 years of adventure.
Welcome.
S-O-D-O-R! What does that spell? Soda!
engine of the Midwest. One night at Tin Myth Sheds, the STEAM team was discussing about adventures they should have in the morning when Sir Topham had arrived.
Everyone, I have some special news to tell you about.
What is so special, sir?
There will be a new engine arriving at Brendam Docks tomorrow morning, and I will want you to treat him with your best behavior.
Yes, sir! I wonder what he looks like. I hope he likes me!
When it comes to new engines, there is one thing I hope for. I expect them to be big, tender engines like me, and not useless little engines like you two.
We're not useless, Gordon. Haven't you heard the sayings? Little engines can do big things. Don't forget this one, Percy. Never overlook a little engine.
Who cares about little engines? All I care about them is that I can boss them around. Now, if you excuse me, I need some sleep. Good night.
The next morning, the STEAM team went to Brendam Docks to see the new engine. Look! Here he comes!
Oh, the indignity. It's a little engine.
Hello, fellow engines. My name is Hunter. I came all the way from the Midwest to help you out with some jobs. Midwest? Where's the Midwest at? Ah, that is a good question there, Percy. How does he know my name? The Midwest is a part of North America that runs all the way from North and South Dakota to Wisconsin. What did you do on your old railway? Oh, I did lots of things.
Like what new engine?
Oh, hello, Philip. What are you doing here?
I wanted to see what was going on.
Oh, okay.
Who is the new engine?
Oh, Philip, that there is Hunter. He came all the way from the Midwest part of North America. He was about to tell us some of the adventures he had on his old railway.
Count me in!
So the first adventure I'm going to tell you about is before we were able to pull goods trains, we started out in the shunting yards. Really? Oh! I almost forgot to tell you the most important part! I have two brothers, and their names are Gabriel and Jameson. The three of us would shunt trucks in the yards together. We decided to make it a competition to see who could shunt the most trucks in the quickest amount of time.
Points!
Points! The shunted trucks would end up becoming goods trains for bigger engines to pick them up and take them to the next goods yard. Whoa!
Who cares about little engines? I'm leaving. Goodbye.
Do you want to hear more of my adventures? Yes! Okay then. My next adventure is a bad one. My first encounter with Vinny. Vinny? You've had problems with him too? Yes. Yes, I have. It all started when I was pulling a goods train. It was all just a normal day on the main line, when suddenly, out of nowhere, he raced right by me without saying hello, and he was pulling 20 trucks across the countryside. I started to race up to him, but I wasn't paying attention, because up ahead, the tracks would split into one lane, and he waited for me to be right in front of the points, and at that moment, he rammed me right off the tracks. And he left me to sit there. That must have been terrible. At least our encounters with Vinny weren't as bad as yours. You've had trouble with Vinny too? Yes! Wow, this is a small world. He called me a shrimp!
He called me Shorty.
He bumped into me at Brendam Docks.
He nearly pushed me into the ditch of a turntable.
So me and Ashima taught him a lesson. We rammed him off the tracks and into an electric pole. Yeah, those might have not been as worse as mine, but you've had more trouble with him than I did.
Well, it's a good thing that we taught him a lesson. Otherwise, he would have kept bothering us.
Do you guys want to hear one more story from my old railway?
Yeah.
Yes! Okay then. It all started when I was bringing some passengers to the baseball game at the Target Center. When I arrived, I was lucky enough to see the express train race right by with the players for the game. I was excited. I stayed and watched the first half of the game, but then I got tired and decided to go back home. Wow! Do any of you have any questions? Oh! Yes, Thomas? Why were your brothers not on the ship with you? Oh, that? Well, the ship I came on could only carry 2 engines at a time. And there was no way that we could squeeze Jameson on board, so I decided that I would go by myself. And the brothers would have to wait for another ship to Sodor. That's so sad. Well, on our island, we have boats that can carry 12 engines at a time. Wow, I wish we had those boats on our railway. Any other questions? Can we get to work now? Why, sure thing, Percy. How does he still know my name? Just then, Sir Topham had arrived.
Oh, Hunter, I was looking all over for you.
What for? Psst, Hunter, you have to call him Sir. Oh, okay. What for, sir?
I have a special job for you.
You do? Yes! Zippity doo-dah! I get my first job!
Ahem!
Oh, sorry, sir. What is my job, sir?
You need to take these engine parts to the mainland. They're building new engines to expand the railway.
Yes, sir! So Hunter was hooked up to the train, and he set off for the mainland. Do you think he will be alright, Thomas? I'm sure he'll be fine, Percy. Besides, he said he did alright on his old railway. You're right, Thomas. I bet he will do just fine. Then the rest of the steam team headed back off to Tidmouth Sheds to take a rest and have more adventures of their own in their dreams. We'll be right back with more Thomas's Trackmaster adventures on Milantoon Primetime.
I had to wait years for my first real train set. Now Tommy make them for younger kids. Easy to put together, magnetic coupling, forward and reverse, even freewheeling on or off the track. Everything's designed for little fingers. And that automatic level crossing's brilliant. And the station, whichever set I'd had, I'd have been so chuffed. Tommy Trains, real train sets for younger kids.
Race action with Career Go! Formula One cars ready to race!
race! The thrills of rally racing is in your hands! Activate the turbo speed as you hit the loop! And now, all the latest race car action from Disney Pixar Cars 2! With Lightning McQueen now battling against Francesco Bernoulli! Also Mater versus Finn McMissile! Be part of the action and get racing with Carrera Go! You are the winner!
恰恰特快车动物园豪华轨道套装，一起去动物园游玩吧！打开闸口，推开动物园大门，参天的大树，可爱的猴子，去往动物园播报站，信号发射，爬上动物园桥梁，拨动三岔轨，百变桥梁轨道，列车到站，恰恰特快车动物园豪华轨道套装，奥迪双钻，我的伙伴。
タカラトミー、目の前に立ちはだかる高い高い壁。その向こうはどんな風に見えるのだろうか。バボカの景色、持ってこーい。配給バボカコンセプトの戦い。
You can see in a flash the speed of Sizzlers 2. You can charge their rotary motor and hear it run. Then give them the gun on Sizzlers 2 Silver Circuit. Race them lap after lap flat out to the finish. And the supercharger, with batteries you buy separately, gives them all the power they need to pass in the turn. You can see in a flash the speed of Sizzlers 2. Sizzlers 2 Silver Circuit comes unassembled with supercharger and 2 vehicles each with built-in motor. New from Mattel.
Yep, that's our school nurse. Nurse Cratchit. Say hi. You got it? She'll spot it. So she can spot why kids love Cinnamon Toast Crunch, right?
It tickles their tonsils?
Duh. There's swirls of cinnamon sugar on every bite.
Sweet. A tasty part of this complete breakfast.
Take 2 and call me in the morning.
Okay.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch, the taste you can see.
Next.
One day at the Fruit Roll-Ups factory.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Sean. Good morning, Steve. Whoa. Have you seen Sean? He looks funny. Also, Steve. The faces! The faces! They're all stretched out! Isn't it cool? Huh? Hey! I've got it!
It's new Stretchy Faces Fruit Roll-Ups. The more you stretch them, the funnier all the faces get. New Stretchy Faces Fruit Roll-Ups.
What are you looking at?
What fun fruit roll-ups will we roll out with next?
出発ドクターイエロー風を切るのはラピード新しくデビューしたカモメシュー
みんなつながれプラレールでどこまでも第1弾土日は DVD も選べるって楽しいね
Here comes Thomas!
All aboard for a big adventure!
Trackmaster, we're constructing the island of Sodor, made for Thomas and all his friends. Action and stunts around every bend. Come interact with your railway friends.
Hey, Percy! Hello, Thomas!
Hello, friends. All aboard!
Let's go!
All aboard for a big adventure!
Trackmaster, they go faster and come steeper than your older ones. Trackmaster, there's motorized engines and push-alongs too. Collect and build your world with Trackmaster. Trackmaster, faster, stronger, and more realistic. And now it's time for a HunterTube short. One day, Hugo was puffing down the line when he saw something very unusual ahead of him. Hello, Hugo. I am your clone. Was there something I said? We now return to Thomas's Trackmaster Adventures on Milantoon Primetime. Thomas's Trackmaster Adventures, celebrating 5 years of adventure.
Welcome.
What does that spell? Soda!
Hunter and the jet engine. Ah, it sure is a beautiful day today.
Coming through.
Whoa!
Hey, Hunter.
Oh, hey, Philip. I was just minding my own business when Hugo raced right by me. Whoa! Who was that?
Oh, that is the new mainland engine. He's the fastest engine on the mainland.
I've never seen him before.
I'll tell you about him later.
Okay.
I like going fast to feel the wind in my face.
I like going fast because I'm streamlined.
I should arrive at the station right on time.
I should arrive at the station right on time.
I'm the fastest engine on Sodor.
I'm the fastest engine on the mainland. And it's a good thing that there's nothing in my way.
Guys, you're late.
What? You know, watching Hugo and the new mainland engine makes me jealous.
Me too.
It's because they're the fastest engines on this island.
Well, if you need me, I'll be at the diesel works buying something on eBay that'll make me go faster. See you later.
Light bulb! If I go to the diesel works, I could probably see what Philip could be buying and take it for myself. Soon, Hunter arrived at the diesel works.
Alright, where is a jet engine? Where would I be if I was a jet engine?
A jet engine?
Come on, driver, keep looking. Keep looking. Keep looking. Aha! There you are, my jet engine. Let's buy this thing. Estimated delivery tomorrow at 8 a.m.
Perfect! Mission accomplished.
Time to be faster than Gordon and prove that I can beat him in a race I had with him.
Later that night, Hunter was in his shed thinking about other things than just the jet engine. Good night, empty sheds. I hope that my brothers will arrive on Sodor soon, because I'm starting to get lonely without them. Signed, Hunter. Oh. The next morning, Hunter woke up with a smile on his face. Time to get that jet engine! At Random Docks, workmen were helping Cranky unload the jet engine when Hunter arrived. Whoa! It looks cooler than I thought it would be! Let's do this!
My arms feel so tired. I think I need a rest. Hunter? I think my arm might have turned on the jet engine.
Well, thanks, Cranky! 3, 2, 1! Blast off! Watch out!
Really? Do you know how long it took to build that?
Sorry! Woohoo! I've never had this much fun in my life! Yippee!
Ah! What was that?
It looked like it was Hunter, on some sort of jet engine or something.
Hunter on a jet engine? That must be my jet engine. I have to stop him.
Don't you need any help?
I'm fine. I don't need help.
Well, suit yourself. Last one to the finish line to redneck! Woohoo! I did it, silly buddies! I'm now the fastest engine on Sodor! Woohoo!
Slow down for a bit, so I can catch up to you.
Oh, I'm not letting you win, Hugo, because there is nothing that's going to stop me.
A red signal?
What a nuisance signals are.
I know, right? But once the signal turns green, I am going to beat your speed.
Actually, Hugo, I'm gonna stay in front and beat your speed. Huh? No! I can beat both your speeds! Hunter and triple speed! Take that, you slow noted!
How on Sodor is he faster than us?
I'm not sure, Hugo, but whatever it is, once this signal turns green, we're gonna beat his speed! Yes! A green signal! Let's go after him! Are you kidding me?
Did you see Hunter race by with my jet engine?
So that explains why he is so fast!
Should we team up to stop him?
Yes!
Alright then, let's go.
Philip? You might want to let us go first, since we are faster after all.
Yeah, good idea.
Hunter, you can't beat our speed.
Actually, I can! Suckers! I'm going to the mainland to beat Scotland's speed record!
We have to stop him. He's just too fast. I don't think I can catch him. I know what to do. Points.
I'm still the fastest engine on Sodor, and there's no way you can stop me! Uh-oh.
Yes! I did it! I did it! But I feel like I forgot to do something. Oops. Don't worry guys, I'll be back with help from Ryan and Jerome.
When Philip got to Owlsburg, Ryan and Jerome were waiting in a siding.
Ryan, Jerome, there's emergency!
Emergency! Where is it at?
The Vickerstown Bridge.
Well then, let's go! Bristling fireboxes! This does look bad! Time to get to work! It's okay, guys. Stay where you are. You'll be out faster than you can say lickety-split. Thanks, Jerome. No problem, Hunter. 5 minutes later. Time to grab the jet engine. Got it. Now pull! Pull, Ryan, pull! Yay!
Jet engine might be destroyed now.
Maybe we can test it to see if it still works. But this time, you use it, Philip.
Thanks, Hunter.
No problem.
Now who will turn it on?
Need a helping hook?
Yes!
Stand back, everyone! Now!
Take off in 3, 2, 1, blast off!
I'm going to miss being the fastest engine on Sodor. Wait! I have an idea! Perfect! Thomas isn't home. That way, I can use his computer and get a jet engine, all for myself. I'm sure he will never notice. Keep looking! Keep looking! Aha! There's a jet engine. Let's buy it! Estimated delivery tomorrow at 9 o'clock a.m. The next morning, Hunter and Philip were at Brendam Docks waiting for the jet engine.
There it is!
Where?
I see it coming on a ship. Right there.
Why is everyone ordering jet engines these days?
Time to use this thing. Again. Flip the switch, cranky one!
If you insist.
3, 2, 1! Look out, Philip!
Alright.
Blast off! Woohoo!
Yippee!
This is more fun than doing it by yourself!
You said it.
Woohoo! Philip?
Yes, Hunter?
There is still one thing I'm curious about.
What is that?
Whatever happened to Hugo and the mainland engine?
I should arrive at the station right on time.
I should arrive at the station right on time!
I'm the fastest engine on Sodor.
I'm the fastest engine on the mainland. And it's a good thing that there's nothing in my way.
Phew, good thing I saw you there.
Don't worry, I didn't see you there either. Run! Ah! See ya, you two! I'll be at the clay pits if you need me. Going to be late again!
What are you eating? Savory, succulent McGarry sausages. Want a bite? Yeah. Ah, he's a sharp salesman.
Hank and George and the harbor master too.
What in the holy name of Hera was that?
Of course Ariel Scotch you want a construction contract.
I wish I was as good a passenger train as Audrey.
The conductor's not ready.
Hang on, it's going to be a bumpy ride ahead.
Look out! Runaway train!
Mighty machines, big and mighty machines, working for you, doing mighty things there. Mighty machines, lifting and pulling and flying so high, building a building up to the sky. You could watch them all day and never know why they're mighty machines. Hear them roar, watch them soar, sit right down and see. There are stories to enjoy for every girl and boy. Mighty machines, big and mighty machines, working for you, doing mighty things there. Mighty machines, working for you, doing mighty things there. Mighty machines.
to Crotoonia Bay Docks. Where's the place exactly? It's on the east coast of this little country called Crotoonia. There's lots of docks here, and this is one of the busiest.
Rotten big boats, leaving me to park on the pier to wait for ages to make deliveries and rust. Can't believe the nerve of some of these boats.
Oh, hi, Bulstrode. What's gotten under your bumpers today?
I've got a very important delivery of parts to take to Pinewood Island tonight, but the harbor's all booked up. I have to wait here until there's an open dock to be loaded.
Oh, what's wrong with waiting around? I'm taking the day off to rest my wheels myself.
Well, you don't have important cargo to tow today. Who knows how long I'll be waiting?
Well, I've known of a busier day on the docks. Why don't I tell you the story of one of them?
Well, I suppose I got nothing better to do.
Well, have I got the story for you. It's a story about a little engine who wanted to do things right away.
One day, the harbor down at Crotoonia Bay was very busy. Lots of ships were sailing in and out of the docks, and there was a big shipment from Europe coming in shortly. The engines working the docks were rushed off their wheels as the cranes loaded cargo onto their flatbeds and freight cars.
Where are these headed out again, dear?
Selgrove City Freight Yard for the gas and refrigerator containers. The rest go to the docks in Selgrove Harbor.
Understood.
How much more coal does this blasted ship need?
About 6 more wagons. They're parked by the supplier's yard.
The ship just radioed in to say it's coming into the coast. I'm going out to bring it in. I'll bridge the other tugs to help.
Thanks, 10 cents.
It soon became apparent that other engines were needed at the docks, since there was too much for the harbor yard engines to do on their own.
Morning, Pepper Pete. Hi, Edward.
Morning, Lazy.
It's Tracy, Pete. Tracy.
Oh, that's what I said, didn't I? Anyway, what are you off to this morning?
Some mail got misdelivered?
Nope. I'm heading off to the docks.
The docks? That's a busy place for you to work at.
Yeah, but I've worked there before, so I can take care of myself there.
Hope it all goes well then.
Good luck, youngster. Just mind the bigger work you're given.
I will.
Tracy made record time getting to the harbor. She couldn't wait to start work by the beautiful seaside. When she got there, 10 Cents and some other tugs had managed to get the ship into the port. It was huge, heavily loaded with goods, and ready for unloading and reloading. Tracy was rushing towards Emma and the ship, ready to double-check what her jobs were, when...
Watch where you're going, you dinky little engine.
Important engines with more important freight coming through.
Oh no, not Cerberus and Diesel 10. What are they doing here?
They've come to help out with the heavy goods.
What? Them? Why couldn't you get someone like the haulers at the Groflin docks?
They're really busy too. We didn't have a lot of engines free today with all the deliveries coming in, so we've had to work with all we've got.
Well, I suppose that's understandable. So, what do you want me to do today? Shunting big trains on the main dock again?
Sorry, Tracy, not this time. I need you to help Trix and Skip at the supplier's yard. They've got a lot of deliveries and materials to get out, so they need someone to help sort out the trains.
Okay, who's Trix and Skip?
You'll find out. They're a nice couple of machines.
Emma was right. Trix and Skip are as nice as they are hard-working. Trix the forklift zips about the yard loading cargo for the trains and trucks that come to the dock, while Skip takes garbage from the building sites and yards down to the dump. Whenever he's paying attention, that is.
Rattling rods! Look at all this stuff! Oh, you must be Trix and Skip.
We certainly are. And you've got to be... Oh! Ouch! Tracy!
Indeed I am. So, what do I have to shift?
Oh, well, for a start, you can shove those bricks and lumber together. They're going up to Prilam for the new townhouses.
And then you can get those empties to Cranky so he can load up the special Steppa stuff that just arrived for the mainland.
I'm on it. I'll get it done in no time. Flat.
Down by the docks, that's the place to be. Down by the docks, the gateway to the sea. Down by the dockside, we are the team, working together, just like family. Down by the docks, you're never on your own. Down by the docks, it's really home from home. Down by the dockside, down by the dockside, down by the dockside, it's where we want to be. Down by the docks, it's where we want to be.
Later that afternoon, Diesel, Ten, and Cerberus were just heading out to the Crotoonia Bay goods depot with a long line of cars when Diesel crossly rolled alongside. And where do you think you two are going?
Another load of crummy wagons. What's so bad about that?
We've got a load coming in from on those narrow gauges at the junction, and one of you has to take it.
Don't see why it has to be us. We've been hauling all morning.
I know someone who would.
Hey, Diesel! What's up?
Dockmaster Noisy just said you've got a special to pick up from the junction.
Really? A special?
Oh yes, some goods from the hills going down here. They need those wagons urgently.
Wow, that's something for a little engine like me.
Tracy, are you sure we should do that? And from orders from Debrius Diesel?
Hey, 10 cents! That delivery from the junction here yet?
Not yet, Dockmaster. Should be here soon, though.
Well, what do you... Oh, no!
Don't go away! Milantoon Primetime will be right back after these messages.
Did you all know this about Harrison?
If Harrison were to bring back characters to the series, here's a good list of who could be a possible return. There are some episodes where he just does whatever. And probably after this video, you'll never see the characters the same way again.
Cocoa Pebbles, the big chocolatey taste will hit you like a chocolatey slap for your smiler. And now there's Cocoa Pebbles Extreme. So much chocolatey flavor, it's more than any one chocolate milk mustache can handle. Part of a delicious breakfast, Cocoa Pebbles Extreme.
New from the Disney movie Hercules.
Hercules, strongest man alive.
You're Hercules. Prove yourself and save the world from Hades. With sword, with axe, with tribo, defeat the evil Nessus. And with Pegasus, crush the monster Cyclops.
Extraordinary, legendary.
Hercules.
Hercules, strongest man alive.
Hercules figures, each sold separately. Powerflex Hercules coming soon from Mattel.
We now return to Milantoon Primetime on the Milantoon channel. Tracy had wasted no time getting to the junction. The cars were already waiting for her, freshly loaded up with heavy goods. I got these buffers buffed. Now, Tracy was not inexperienced at pulling goods trains, but she'd never really hauled goods trains this heavy before, and usually the goods trains were kept to the flatter parts of the railway. And she was finding out very quickly that they were a lot harder to control than she thought. Are you guys sure she's pulled the heavy goods before? Cause it's not looking like that to me. Yeah, I'm getting vibes she's an amateur. My buffer feels like a cut of switch. Got it.
Whoa, why is she giving her the right of way? We got the right of way. Good grief.
Hey,
like, guys, I got an idea, so hear me out. Why don't we, like, push you down the big hill a little bit? You know, not like in a mean way, just kind of like, you know, hey, teach you for next time kind of way. Not supposed to be hard or anything.
Do you really want to do this right now?
I mean, if it makes you guys happy, I'm having a fun ride back here. You know what, Joe? I don't always agree with you, but let's do this. Everyone in favor, clank. Good, let's do it. We'll talk about good timing, because here it comes now.
So is this going to be like an easy push on there? Because I'm not sure what the plan is here right now.
Right. Only about a mile more, and we'll be... what the... come on! Slow down!
I don't think so!
Tracy tried to apply her brakes, but it was too late. The cars were pushing her faster and faster down the line, and not even the brake van could help.
Runaway train! Oh, goodness! Stop!
The out-of-control Tracy and her cars were sent speeding along through the docks and down the line towards the old wooden pier.
So, Joe, did you forget about the giant pin we're about to crash off of?
I didn't know it was there. I thought we were going to lose the buses or something. Luckily, 10 Cents had been docking a sand barge near the pier and had set it up to make a makeshift arrestor bed when he saw her coming down.
Thanks, 10 Cents. I owe you one.
No problem, mate. I'll go and fetch a crane. Then you can get some of that sand out of your valves.
Because the tide was too low to lift her out, Tracy had to sit in the barge for some time. A little bit happened while she waited. Cars were delivered. Engines were found out and punished. And ships shouted, "Anchors away!" But even as Bonavista finally arrived to lift her out of the barge, Tracy still felt ashamed for causing an accident by jumping into a situation she wasn't prepared for. As the workmen got ready to lift Tracy out from the barge, Emma, Trick, Skip, and Luke all came to help out any way they could.
Engine secured. Bring her up, boys.
Now, don't be hard on yourself, kid. It wasn't all your fault. Those three were looking for an easy way out of a situation, and you got tricked into it. From what I heard from these two, you were a big help.
Yeah, you were a huge help getting all the deliveries out today.
Even if you got a little sandy.
Thanks, guys. And I learned something else, too.
Well, what's that?
10 Cents to try out for the baseball team with his catching skills.
Oh, I get it! Look how she got you in sand!
And so, Tracy learned not to always jump into a job she wasn't ready for, and that she could do great work without needing to pull heavy trains.
Well, it was silly for her to take that train all on her own. And anyway, are trains really that heavy?
Well, trains can be a lot heavier than you think. And if they're really important, sometimes they need help from a friend. Let me tell you about my friend Russ, and the time he needed the help of a new friend to get the train moving.
Early one morning, Harry was struggling to get some freight cars moved from a siding. They were needed for a mixed traffic train that Donald and Douglas were to take to Nantasket Junction.
Come on! I'm gonna be late for my next job!
He groaned. His wheels spun and spun. The reason why the cars weren't moving at all was because their brakes were set. But he didn't realize this and just kept on pulling and pulling.
Come on! He groaned. I wish I was moving instead of standing still!
Suddenly, the coupling between him and the first freight car broke, and Harry ran right into a siding, smashed through some buffers, and stopped halfway across an old tramp steamer. Luckily, no one was hurt, but Harry's front was badly bent. Skipper Stu and the harbor master came over to see if Harry was all right.
Well, the only major damage is bent buffers,
said the harbor master.
Oh, botheration, said Skipper Stu. Harry and Hamish were to collect the coastline flyer in an hour. Who can we get to take the train on such short notice?
Luckily, Russ was close by and heard everything.
I can take it,
he called out.
Are you sure, Russ?
The harbor master called back.
It's a tough train to pull.
Of course! We've got to keep the trains to time, you know.
Well, alright. But we've got to send Hamish to help out with the backlog while Harry's being mended. So you'll need to find another engine who can help you take the coastline flyer.
Yes, Mom, Russ tooted confidently. I can manage that. But as Russ got closer to Selgreb Bay Harbor, he remembered something he should have kept in mind before. The Coastline Flyer was an express goods train usually hauled by Harry and Hamish that stops at every harbor along the Seaside Railway. Starting from Selgreb Bay, it goes on to Croflin and then goes all the way down to Gradinia Bay at the end of the line. Russ was worried, but was sure that he could find someone at Selgreb Bay who'd be happy to lend a wheel, just in case the train was too heavy for him to pull alone.
Well, looks like I'll just have to ask the first engine I meet if they'll be able to help me,
he decided as he pulled into the bustling dockyard. As he sorted out the containers for his train, he saw a little tank engine sitting on a siding, waiting for help.
Hello there,
he said.
You've got an interesting crane arm. Where's your hook?
I'm a reach stacker. I have clamps instead of hooks.
That's intriguing. I've never met a reach stacker engine before.
Oh, beg pardon for not introducing myself. I'm Stepney, and my name's Russ. I've got a big freight train to take to Gradinia Bay, but I'm not sure if I can do it on my own.
I'd be more than willing to lend a buffer,
said Stepney cheerfully.
I'm catching a ferry there anyway.
Great, honked Russ. We'd better hurry if we're to get the goods delivered on time.
Don't go away! Milantoon Primetime will be right back after these messages.
Yo! Alf here! I'd like to talk to you about your planet. I like it. And you should too. But a lot of people aren't taking very good care of it. For starters, they're abusing our public lands. They're littering the beaches, vandalizing the parks, trashing the playgrounds, and basically treating the planet like rental property. Frankly, I don't understand it. People like that are running loose, and I'm the one who has to hide in the kitchen. Look, folks, public lands are not like pizzas. You just can't pick up the phone and order more. I should know. My planet was really abused. The next thing we knew, it was gone. Public land is our friend. If we don't take care of it, it'll be destroyed. If you want to help me take care of our public lands, call me. I'll send you all kinds of neat stuff, even a recent photo of myself. Please, let's save the planet. I don't want to have to look for another one.
We now return to Milantoon Primetime on the Milantoon channel.
As the two shunted together the loads to hook up, Russ told him about his work in Croflin and the many different engines he worked with, while Stepney told him about his time in Crotoonia, in which he'd been visiting to be part of a great locomotive show at Selgreb City Sheds, and now had to return to his home in England, the Bluebell Railway. Russ and Stepney decided to take the train in two halves. Russ would haul the containers, and Stepney would haul the other loads, tankers, fish, stone, produce, and products from the factories around the city. When all was shunted and ready, the two set off down the Seaside Railway with their important train. Unfortunately, they didn't get very far, as the first stretch to get out of the harbor was uphill. They tugged and pulled, but no matter what, the engines couldn't get their trains up the slope.
I'm sorry, Russ. This train seems to be a bit tougher to haul up than I thought.
You're right, sighed Russ.
The Coastline Flyer is too heavy for both of us to pull separately, and if we leave later, we won't have time to uncouple each of the cars for the docks.
Then, as if by magic, both engines came up with the same idea. They decided to arrange each of their trains into two new halves. Cars for Croflin were coupled to Stepney, and cars for Gradinia Bay were coupled to Russ. Both brake vans were coupled together, then Stepney with his train, and then Russ and his train. With an engine hauling at the front and an engine to haul from the middle, the two could get up the hill and on their way down the line. The rearranged train also made it easier to drop off and pick up cargo at the two stops. Stepney's cars were uncoupled, and new cars of steel, fish, and lumber were coupled on. they made it to the docks just in time. Well, it was a pleasure to work with you today, Stepney. It's a pity you have to go home now. Likewise, Russ. But I'm glad your crew have such a good friend. Keep everything in order back home, and who knows, maybe I'll visit here again. Goodbye, Russ, and Godspeed. Russ then rolled home, confident, ready for bed, and glad he had found himself a new friend.
Well, Mrs. Bayswater was really proud of Russ after he saved the day and the train. So much so, she let him go on a vacation to San Locomoda.
Puh, does he really need a holiday? I move cargo all the time, but I never get to go to India or Brazil on a leisure cruise.
Well, Russ did a lot for the harbor too. And while he was on his trip, he missed out on some really fun things. Like when Skipper Stroop tried out pulling a passenger train.
Skipper Stu is a very efficient engine. Being the Dockmaster's diesel of Groflin Harbour, he always works to make sure the docks are tick-tock and on the clock. Unfortunately, this attitude does have a tendency to cause some, problems. One night, as the seaside locomotives were cooling their fireboxes and engines, Skipper Stu was rolling into the roundhouse. The engines were surprised. "What are you doing here tonight, Skip?" asked Oliver. "Passenger detail. The Seaside Rail Co. scheduled a test run for our new express passenger service for tomorrow, but the new engine she bought hasn't arrived yet, so I, of all engines, am to take the train tomorrow." "That sounds lovely," said Emma. "Not when you're the Dockmaster's diesel. I feel like I should stay here and keep things running." "But we all help to do that," said Jones the Steam, "even whilst we have engines out of action. Like how I'm taking care of the containers while Russ is on holiday," said Gripper the Crane. "Suppose you've got a point," said Skipper Stu. "In that case, I'll keep this passenger run on the clock." And with that, he went straight to sleep. Next morning, however, showed that not everything would be on the clock. Skipper Stu, keeping in proper Navy fashion, woke himself up well before dawn. Unfortunately, the ship was still far out at sea by the time he got there. Trains came in and out of the terminal, and buses put-putted in and out for a good hour while he was waiting. At last, the big cruise ship carrying his passengers finally arrived and quickly boarded his coaches. Stu's train would only stop at the harbour stations, so the coaches were special for the long trip. There was a break coach, a luggage van, a sleeper, a diner, and a lounge, all coupled together for the long journey. At last, everyone was on board, and Skipper Stu was ready to go. "Tick-tock, we're on the clock, off we go, lads," he called out, but the coaches weren't ready. "The conductor's not ready! The conductor's not ready!" they called out, but it was no use. Skipper Stu was moving. Had he not been flagged down, he would have left the luggage van and the break coach behind. Skipper Stu felt very embarrassed. All the way to their first stop in Groflin, it seemed like nothing went right. Because they were late, they were switched off on a loop siding to let Yemon hurry past with some freight cars. Then, he ran into trouble with Donald at the salt mines. And to make things worse, the inclines proved very troublesome for Skipper Stu, causing the coaches to rock about and give the passengers an unpleasant experience. Passengers trying to sleep were given an unwanted massage. Hotcakes and bagels flew across the diner, and passengers trying to take pictures were given blurry results. At last, they made it to their first stop. The grumbling passengers boarding the main line connections and ferry boats at the dock got off, and some new passengers got in. Harry and Hamish, the express freight diesels, were surprised to see their boss worn out and stressed. "Oh, how do engines manage this? I've run this train to time, and I've run into nothing but trouble." Well, we're not experts on the matter, said Harry. But passenger trains aren't like freight, said Hamish. They're right, you know, said a voice. It was Olwen, who'd been hauling Isabel and Dulcie while Oliver was working at the salt mines. Passengers are not meant to be treated like soldiers, and coaches aren't meant to be treated like cars. You need to be gentle, smooth, and above all, relaxed. So, don't order them on board? Correct. And don't rock them about. Correct. Just be relaxed and keep steady. Just then, the conductor blew his whistle. All aboard! He called out as Skipper Stu tooted to say, all clear. And now, knowing that the passengers and luggage were safely aboard, he started off. The ride up to Crotoonia Bay was much smoother. Skipper Stu didn't run into any loop sidings or jerk about on inclines. He just hauled his way up quickly but steadily. The passengers could sleep comfortably in the sleeper. The diners could enjoy their lunches of hot hamburgers, sandwiches, wraps, and soft drinks. And sightseers could take in the beauty of the Crotoonian coast. And when they arrived at the harbour, Skipper Stu waited patiently for the passengers to reboard his coaches. Then, they all travelled down the same route home, stopping at each stop without fail. Finally, he made his last stop late into the night. His passengers boarded the final cruise ship bound for the mainland, and the express coaches were shunted away to the yards. Well done, said Dockmaster Eric. I heard you improved a great deal after what happened this morning, and the express has been a great success. Therefore, I am proud to say, thank you, good Eric, interrupted Stu. But I do have my Dockmaster's duties to fill. Oh, I wasn't going to have you take over. Then, what were you going to say? But I must stop here, I'm afraid, or I'm going to spoil the next story.
Don't go away! Milantoon Primetime will be right back after these messages. We now return to Milantoon Primetime on the Milantoon channel.
Boy, he must have looked silly bumping and banging those passengers around.
Well, he did. But he also learned that the way he usually does things wasn't the best way, and that he had to keep cool and take things easy.
So there was something about a new express engine. I don't think I've met them yet. I mean, not that I'm interested or anything.
Well, that's another story to tell. Here's what happened when Audrey came to town.
One morning, Sasha the little local puller engine was at the seaside roundhouse. She noticed Emma turning around to go to Selgra Bay instead of Crotoonia Bay. Where are you going? Don't you have something to do? Not yet. Dockmaster Noisy wants me to welcome the newcomer. There is a newcomer? There was. A new engine had arrived to Crotoonia. Her name was Audrey, and she was quite a different engine compared to many of the other Crotoonians. She had a big, bulky buffer beam, smart dark blue paintwork, and a big, sturdy tender. She was about to go on her maiden voyage, and a large group of engines were there to welcome the new engine to the crew, with the newly christened Seaside Soarer. Hello, welcome to our railway. Let me know if you need anything shunted. How much coal can your tender carry? But Audrey was very quiet. She didn't seem to care much about the questions and comments. As Sasha arrived backwards, Audrey's first train set off for Graflin Harbor. Sasha saw the powerful engine roar out of the docks. She was impressed by how strong she was and how long and fancy her new carriages were. But then she remembered. She was a very small train with very small carriages that had to load outside the platform. It made Sasha feel very lowly indeed. Sasha's job was to pull the Local, a small passenger train that stopped at every station to drop off all kinds of passengers and workers. Captains to Selgrip Bay docks, miners and crane operators to Bartlett Bay, tourists to Graflin Harbor, beachgoers to Coast View Junction, and workers to Gradinia Bay Junction. The days were long and busy for the little engine, but she loved looking at all the different things on her route. Cliffs covered in moss, waves rippling along the coastline, trees standing proud and strong on their perches, and small seaside towns busily going about their days. But whenever Audrey passed by, roaring with her carriages and important passengers in tow, it always made her feel silly.
I look at the scenery, making my passengers late, while Audrey is fast and on time.
Later that day, as she was on her way back, she ran down the little line on the cliffs of the salt mines, where she found a very shocking sight. There, blowing steam from what looked like every cylinder of her boiler, was Audrey.
Are you alright, Audrey?
Asked Sasha. Well, started Audrey in a very flat voice. Pistons are pumping, water pressure's good. Steam pressure, not so much. I do need to get these passengers moving again, though. They're catching a ship to Britain at Graflin Harbor. Then, Sasha got an idea.
I can take your passengers to the docks. That's my next stop with my train. Oh, but my carriages aren't fancy and glamorous. They don't have dining bars or sleeper beds. Just plain old seats and luggage racks.
Well, do you get your passengers to their places on time?
Well, not all the time. Sometimes the scenery takes away my focus and...
I mean, I don't blame you, said Audrey, to the shock of Sasha. This railway's got some pretty looking scenery. But the point is, if you're steaming and you got coaches, you're good. You got this, little bud. With that, Sasha had found confidence she'd never had before. Whistling,
"Peep, peep! Get in quickly, please!"
Audrey's passengers for Graflin climbed into her carriages, and the little engine set off for the docks. Sasha's carriages were heavier than usual, but she was determined to make it to the docks on time before the ship left for Britain. Her funnel was firing smoke and steam like never before. Her pistons rattled as she built up steam, and she was moving so much past her usual top speed that a local fisherman lost his hat to the sea, where a whale found it a fine new addition to its Sunday best. Finally, the little engine reached the docks, just in time for the ship to collect its last load of passengers. Then, Sasha hurried over to Skipper Stu.
"We've got an emergency! Audrey's broken down near the salt mines. We need the breakdown gang and dock as soon as possible."
"Leave it to me," said Skipper Stu. Doc and the workmen carefully examined Audrey, whose steam had dampened down quite a bit from earlier. Duck had already taken her carriages away, and Sasha had let Oliver take the last of her passengers home to bring over tools to mend her.
"Well, you're very lucky, Audrey," said Doc. "You just had a tad too much pressure built up in your pistons. Common issue with a new build."
Thanks, Doc. But you know, I'd have been a bigger goner without Sasha. She was the real hero of this situation. If she hadn't run so gallantly, a lot of people would have missed their boat. Wish I had the same control you seem to with all of those hills, I tell you. Sasha couldn't help but blush a little. It made her feel bigger and stronger than she thought she was. Audrey and Sasha are now firm friends. Audrey sometimes asks Sasha for help, but sometimes has to remind Sasha not to keep comparing herself to her. She's an amazing engine, just the way she is.
Audrey's always a great friend to see around, and she knows how wonderful the docks can be.
Whitewater. There's nothing special about the docks, especially when you're bored with nothing to do.
10 cents wouldn't say so.
Yeah? What's that?
He'd say, you'd be surprised what treasures you can find under the docks after all. He did come across some treasure by accident once.
Treasure? What do you mean, treasure?
Well, let me tell you about the treasure of 10 cents.
Theodore and 10 Cents love working on the Crotoonian coast. They work hard bringing ships into port, moving barges, or generally helping out along the docks. One morning, Ariel was at the pier assigning each of the tugs their work for the day. Everyone else had been sent by Eric to help out at the other harbors, so the rest of the tugs had been kept busy. Sunshine, we need you on the oil tanker contract. Warrior, you and Top Hat have garbage to collect. And Theodore and 10 Cents, you're with me on the Beamer Island construction site this morning. I'll see if we're clear to get Bonavista and Barrington. All the tugs were ready to go to work, but Top Hat was cross about having to have garbage before taking an important ship out to sea, and George taking his place at the car ferry dock in Crotoonia Bay. So he took it out on 10 Cents. Of course Ariel's got you on a construction contract. That's all you little switches are good for. But Sunshine's got a tanker to take out to sea later, so we're good at doing big buck too. Oh, please. If Ariel really needed you for the big job, she would have given it to you then, And the uppity railway tugs fumed away. Take no notice of him, puffed Warrior as he left the pier. He's just a little grumpy, that's all. Aye, said Sunshine. Ariel and Eric know you're a tough tug. As he and Theodore left with Bonavista and Barrington for Beamer Isle, he was still venting. Count on Top Hat to say our switches are too small for real work. When Sunshine carried out this big ship from Europe the other way, and we had no problems there. But Theodore wanted the best for all his friends and tried to ease him down. I'm sure Top Hat didn't mean all of it. You've helped him and the other big tugs out of problems before, like when Sunshine was friend when he first came to your harbor. This made 10 Cents feel a lot better, and the two tugboats soon started swapping stories all the way to the building site. Ariel's job for the tugs at Beamer Isle was to help build a new wooden dock for tourist boats to visit the island and explore. The lighthouse that gave the island its name was also going through repairs, so Griff and Tiff, the crane tugs, were busy near the little island too, with Bonavista lifting pieces from Barrington into place and garbage barges of junk and scrap to haul off. It was tiring work for everyone involved, especially when Griff and Tiff showed off. Look at this old tire rack bound, bragged Griff. Can it beat this old traction wheel from the old power station? Replied Tiff. But no matter how hard the work got, or how showboaty the crane tugs got, 10 Cents and Theodore were still working hard. Later, as 10 Cents was off to the garbage docks with another load of rusty tin cans and junk from the bottom of the island, he was rounding a buoy to mark where the bay began, when all of a sudden... Whoa! Screamed 10 Cents. Look out! Screamed the ship as it swerved violently out of the way to avoid hitting 10 Cents. She turned so suddenly that some of her cargo swerved off its base. Some stayed on deck, but one container wasn't so lucky. Oh no! I'm so sorry for spilling your cargo. Don't panic, man, said the still breathless ship. I'm lucky that was an empty. Sorry, I wasn't looking where I was going. Let me guess, said 10 Cents. Really small? No, said the ship. You're pretty easy to spot. Just hard to see when you've got a full load. Could you get that container back, though? Said the ship. I need it for some cargo I'm picking up from Panama. 10 Cents said it would be no problem, and he hurried off to find Bonavista and Ariel for help. Sometime later, Ariel and Bonavista had gotten a ship whose name was Shirley to guide her hook down into the bay. A group of other boats had gathered around the spot where the salvage was being done, and Griff and Tiff were teasing 10 Cents about the ordeal. Always making a mess. That's what a switcher's good for, snapped Griff. Betting a tiny tug could lose a big container, whispered Tiff. Okay, 10 Cents, called Ariel. Bring Bonavista near me. Everyone was surprised. The job was done. We've got work to do, complained Grip and Tiff. Is it a monster?
trembled Scuffy, the tiniest tug on the harbor. Just bring it down! You're not gonna believe what we found! And so, Buena Vista was moved, and her hook lowered, and lowered, and lowered, until... I've hit something, called Buena Vista. Probably an old junk barge, said Tiff. That's what my fishing's always found. But when Buena Vista raised her hook, it wasn't junk at all. It was a chest, a big old wooden chest. No, it can't be, said Grip in shock. Is it? Silver and sticks, it's treasure, called Warrior. Ariel and Buena Vista had reeled up a treasure chest. It was filled like a jelly donut with rubies from long ago.
It must have been swept over from the Great Wreck of Old 45,
said old Olson the Navy tug.
Good find, Ariel.
Well, I wouldn't have found it without 10 cents. All the tugs gave a huge chorus of toots. Hooray for 10 cents is mistake! Just then, Top Hat came around with a barge of scrap. I say, what's going on here? I've been getting out the rubbish in twice the time Warrior can, so what's so special that's left me in a Bayside blockade? Everyone couldn't help but laugh.
That was the biggest news the harbor had seen in weeks. Everyone was talking about 10 cents and the amazing ruby dredge.
It would take more than a rotting wood chest to really impress me.
Well, there was bigger news a while ago. Let me tell you about my friend Charlie and Meg's headliner.
Megara is a reporter for the Crotoonian Gazette, the national newspaper for the whole of Crotoonia. This means that she often goes out and about looking around Crotoonia to write about events going on. And on this particular day, she was off to Grufflin Harbor to cover a very exciting event. Morning, Meg.
Morning, Scrooge.
How's life in the city?
Oh, same old, same old. When you've got a demigod for a husband, cruise ship rescues just on the docks within the week, express train rescues the month before, and a runaway freight train tale just a few days ago, life's never that boring.
You never fail to bring a laugh. All set for today's scoop?
Oh, you know it. When you hear a queen's coming to Crotoonia, it's always a big scoop to catch.
All clear for departure.
Fire away, hotshot.
At Grufflin Harbor, there was energy in the sea air as Skipper Stu began the working day for the other engines. Wakey, wakey, lads! It's a big day for the harbor!
Couldn't you have given us a few more minutes there, Skip?
Oh, not today, Montague. The Queen is coming, and we've got a tight schedule to run.
Morning, lads! Sorry we're late. We've had an early start. Hi! 4 a.m. freights got sent out to make sure everything got sent on time.
Indeed, especially when old Gloucester needs her cargo out pronto. How you doing over there?
I'm all set for loading, pals. Just give me a shout when you're ready.
Stupendous, Gloucester. Right then, I'll have to give you jobs for the day fast. I've got a quick meeting at Selgar Harbour before the docking. Duck and Yeoman, select your coaches for passenger detail. Emma, today you're shunting at Cordelia Bay docks. Get going, will you? Harry and Hamish, help the twins with the express freight. Russ, you're cleaning up the container yard today. And as for you, Charlie, you've got a special.
Wow! A special?
Why, yes. You'll be in charge of cleaning up the ferry terminal and ensuring all the engines get to their proper lines when they arrive. There's going to be plenty today, so I want you to make sure the ferry terminal is still under order when I get back. I'm counting on you, Charlie.
Sure thing! Wait, which queen is...
See you in a few, Charlie.
Have a great day, everyone. Let me know how it goes.
Well, off to the grind!
Don't go away. Milantoon Primetime will be right back after these messages.
That girl was the beauty of Disney's Hercules.
Fashion secrets, Megara. She is beautiful. What's her secret? A look for day, a look for night. Her magic ribbon does it right. Give her a look for every mood. Catch the eye of that hunky muscle dude.
One of the boys in love.
She's sleek and sassy.
The ribbon's her secret.
Fashion secrets, Megara.
Secret's Megaradol. Hercules horse and batteries not included.
Want to go on an adventure today?
Sure! Remember when we went to the bottom of the ocean? That was fun. And when we went into the jungle, we caught butterflies together. In our great space adventure. I got you, Dudley.
Those were great. Where are we going to go today?
It's not the adventure that's important, Dudley. It's the friends you share it with.
Now you can go where your imagination goes. Dudley the Dragon is soft and huggable from Canada Games, each sold separately.
We now return to Milantoon Primetime on the Milantoon channel. Meanwhile, out on the main line, Olwen was chugging along happily pulling a freight train to Crotoonia Bay, when Spencer came puffing down the line.
Morning, slow coach!
Oh, good morning, Spencer. Off to meet the Queen, I'm guessing.
Indeed, I am. They're only allowing the finest to come to the arrival of her liner, after all.
Well, I think I'm very fine, too. I'm a Gresley design like you know.
I'm pretty sure Gresley didn't throw a bunker and saddle tank onto a tender engine's design.
So, what do you and Hercules get up to when you're not bogged down with work?
Oh, fair bit. Walks around the park, swimming at Ariel's beach, the occasional social gathering at home. But just being with him's always nice. Such a sweet big old lug.
But reporting's just as fun, eh?
In a way. Nothing like a healthy dose of adventure to keep a couple running. Herc had some teaching to do in the States, so he wasn't able to pop up today. Though, it can be a little lonely at times, with not many people to talk to on some occasions. In any case, I'm sure Ariel will be there too. What in the holy name of Hera was that?
Bless me bagpipes! Hang on, it's going to be a bumpy ride ahead!
I'll surely beat you this time!
Oh, certainly not. I'm more modern than you.
Uh-oh.
Thanks for the fast load-up. See you next week, fellas.
Morning, little Charlie. Morning, Russ.
Morning, Gordon. Boy, you seem happy today.
Wouldn't you be if you had some of the most important people in the whole of Crotoonia on your express?
Like Lunette the Clown or Charlie Chalk, perhaps?
Morning, Gordon. I'm the rail company's representative today. I've brought Mrs. Ella to see the visitors.
Oh, that's great, Tilly. Oh, that reminds me. You'll be parked on track 5, and Gordon, you're going to be on track 6 with Sir Reginald.
Thank you, Charlie.
You're welcome. Oh, morning, Harrison.
What the?
The heck was all that about?
Had a little race for the way up, and I think I broke my suspension springs.
Well, blow me down! How are we going to get to the docks now?
Hold on. I've got an idea.
Back at Grufflin Harbor, the arrival of the ship was coming closer and closer, while Charlie's cool was getting smaller and smaller.
Whoa! Mind your tracks!
You okay, little fella?
Surely, sure. Yeah, sure thing. Just gotta clear the yards and get the tracks tidied and guide the visitors in and make sure things are shipshape for Skipper when he comes back and Charlie? Yeah, Russ? It's okay to ask for help, you know. Huh? What do you mean? Well, but Skipper wanted me to do this job myself. I mean, I've worked in the docks hard enough for a big chance like this.
But it's all right to get a little help in times like these.
Yeah, that's what friends are for.
You're probably right. Thanks, guys. Okay, I'll take care of guiding the engines in while Harry and Hamish shift the goods to the yards right here.
On it.
Russ, you sort out the deliveries coming into the warehouse. No problem.
Any sign of anyone yet?
Yes, we got one. Hey, Olwen, over here. Engine down, engine down.
We need help.
Oh my, Spencer, whatever happened to you?
Knocked up my suspension springs. My crew's already radioed the works for a pickup, but now my VIPs will be late for the Queen's arrival.
Well, you're in luck then. I'm on the way to the docks myself. I'm delivering this load of supplies for the ferry terminal and picking up the Queen and her guests.
You? A VIP engine?
I wasn't just made for freight work, you know. All right, you two. Enough chit-chat. Time to get this show back on the road. Olwen, off to the docks. Get well soon, Spencer.
I hope so.
Meg got to the docks just before the docking could even start. When the liner did arrive, however, it was a wonderful sight. The crowd roared as the ship was guided into the terminal.
What a godly sight. Haven't seen a celebration this wild since Dionysus got invited to last year's New Year's party.
Whoa, Skipper! Oh, I hope you didn't mind that.
Don't panic, Charlie. Ross and the twins told me everything. You did a good job on your first leadership job on the harbor. And you did a brave thing too. Something that requires a great deal more courage.
What's that?
You let your friends help out with a big job.
Thanks a bunch, Skip. Oh, by the way, I didn't get a chance to know or ask with all the work these past few days, but which Queen is arriving?
Engines and cranes! It is the pleasure of the Grafflin Harbor Ferry Terminal crew to welcome to the country of Crotoonia for the very first time, Queen of the Riverdale, the royal family!
All that hype for some ice queen?
Well, she is pretty famous.
I suppose so, but, you know, I was expecting someone fancier, like a Spanish queen, or a French queen, or a Dairy Queen.
She has ice powers, Strong Bad. How many queens do you know that have ice powers?
Well, I don't know any queens.
Scrooge McDuck. A pleasure to meet you again.
You know them, Scrooge?
Well, when you're a business magnet like me, you've got to have your odd connection to two.
Oh my gosh, are you the Megara?
Huh?
The wife of Hercules, by any odd chance?
How do you know me?
We have a copy of your fantastic story on the Daisy Cruiser rescue on the ship. And we heard from our friends about your fantastic adventures with the legendary Hercules.
Well, perhaps I am that Megara. Scrooge, would you mind?
Not a problem.
Wow, what was it like during the big rescue?
Well, it was quite an adventure, really. There was a commotion out at sea, and everyone was worried down at the dockyard. And then I got a shot.
And so that day, there were quite a few headliners off and on the front page. Charlie had handled his first big job in the harbor, Spencer was left out of the party, Olwen served as a royal engine, and Meg had not only had a great story, but had ended up making some great new friends.
Wasn't that an exciting tale? All full of thrills, spills, and surprises.
All right, I get the idea.
So, what do you think of the docks now?
Well, I suppose it's not all bad hanging around the docks sometimes. It beats sitting out on a beach all day.
Attention, Bulstrode! Tilly has arrived at Dock 3 with your consignment of parts.
Oh, finally! Well, I can't stay sitting around listening to stories all night. I've got real work to do.
You know, that reminds me of when Tilly went on a seaside trip. Who's up for a sing-along?
The sun is shining, it's a lovely day. It won't be long before we're on our way. The guard is waiting, flag in hand. He blows his whistle, we're off to sea and sand. The sky is blue, there's not a cloud in sight. So much excitement, didn't sleep all night. Now Tilly's rushing through the countryside, with people waving as we whistle by. Seaside, we're off to the seaside. Ice cream and cones, candy floss on your nose. Seaside, we're off to the seaside. We're gonna have a lovely day.
It's been a fun day out here on the harbor. It's nice to share stories with you and with people who's around to listen.
Yeah, we're gonna have a lovely day.
Good night, everybody. And thanks for stopping by at the docks.
Somebody get this freaking duck away from me!